Hey everybody, Jake Breen here. Welcome to the Utah Cribs web blog. I hope me holding up this 20 bucks got you to start watching this video. I'm gonna try and make it brief, but I wanna give you an analogy here and let you, clue you in to one of the most common misconceptions we find in real estate. This is a listing agreement. It's called an exclusive right to sell listing agreement, designated agency, and this is the form that is most often signed between a seller and any brokerage that represents that seller in selling a home. So prior to a home coming up for sale or being on websites or having a sign stuck in the yard, this has been signed between the agent, the brokerage that represents the agent or the agent works with, and the seller. Why is this important? Because on here, the seller and the brokerage have already agreed to a commission amount that's going to be paid. Okay. There's no specific amount that needs to go in there, but I'll tell you what's standard. It's been common for years that that amount is 6%. Now, here's the fallacy, and here's what we get all the time. We get consumers that are shopping on websites, and they truly believe that if they find the home themselves and contact the listing agent, that they're going to be able to whack off 3% buyer's commission, or i.e. not pay that or get it credited back to them or something like that. And what I often explain to buyers is I use what's called the Costco analogy. So, y'all know that when you go shop at Costco and get your groceries, they take this, right? Now, have you ever gone into Costco, gotten all your groceries, and picked everything out and brought in cash instead of an American Express? And when you get up to the register with all your food to pay and they ring it all up and you say to the person, or the cashier, the clerk, or the person checking you out, you say, look, I'm paying with cash, so I demand that you whack off 3% of this bill. Because I know when I pay with my American Express, that American Express as a third party gets their transaction fee, which credit card transaction fees are between 2.65 and 3%. So they're similar to real estate commissions. Are you confused yet? Most of you watching this are probably going, well, no, Jake, that's ridiculous. I don't walk into Costco, go to pay with cash, and then demand that they knock 3% off my bill. Well, that's the same thing everyone does in real estate when they believe that by representing themselves as a buyer, they're saving 3%. The reality is, this listing agreement has been signed before a buyer comes to the door or comes to look at that property. And whether they're represented or not, this listing agreement already has an agreed to commission that the seller is paying the listing brokerage for selling that property. So what you've done when you go in and represent yourself, or you don't have representation, or you pay with this, and you think you're saving 3%, is you really bonus the listing agent. The listing agent gets to keep the full 6% or whatever they have agreed to in this listing agreement in their pocket. And the listing agent does not have to represent you as a buyer to get both sides. So here's a common scenario. House gets listed for $300,000. Buyer calls off the sign, meets the listing agent there. Listing agent opens the property. Buyer says, well, I want it, but I don't have a buyer's agent representing me, so I want to offer $285. Listing agent says, great, offer $285. Listing agent may assist them in writing it up, or buyer may write it up themselves. Offer comes in on the real estate purchase contract at $285,000. Listing agent takes it to their seller and says, here, Mr. Seller, we've got an offer for $285. That doesn't alter the commission that's already been signed in the listing agreement. So, seller may counter at $290. They counter at $290, buyer agrees to take it. Listing agent gets the full 6% or whatever has been agreed to in the listing agreement. It does not change because of the way the buyer is purchasing. It's already been agreed to in the listing agreement. This is probably the most common mistake and question I've got in my entire career being in real estate. And as a broker, I've taught a lot of classes, I've taught a lot of agents how to understand this. The Costco analogy is the best thing I've found to use, but the reality is Costco has a pre-existing agreement with American Express before you walk in the door. They don't care how you pay, cash or credit card, even though they are netting a little bit less money when you pay by this, because they've got to pay American Express. You still pay the same when you check out, and that's the reality in real estate. So get representation. Of course, we'd like it to be us here at Utah Cribs, but the reality is, buyers, you need representation, and the price doesn't change. So it's free to use a buyer's agent, get one that's good, and get a great price negotiated for yourself. Thanks. You know our slogan here at Utah Cribs, we educate you so you can make an educated decision on the market. Tune in soon. bye.